Call Angelo now. Call Angelo now.
This is foreclosure prevention in your face.
We've been dealing with them for 2 years almost, asking them to solve these people's problems in the community.
5 years.
Now they keep on getting run around, busy signals on the telephones, people putting them off and pushing them off. These people got lives and they need their homes.
We contacted Countrywide to respond to protests like this one. They gave us a statement that reads in part, "We understand that financial setbacks are sometimes unavoidable, and we have long been committed to workout programs that offer options to customers who've met with temporary hardship, would like to stay in their homes, and can demonstrate the wherewithal and willingness to meet their mortgage payments going forward." The East Side Organizing Project, or ESOP, is one of Cuyahoga County's Don't Borrow Trouble nonprofit partners. ESOP holds lenders accountable using a direct action approach.
Again, it is a chilly day and we've been standing here, but in my heart and in all of our hearts, it is very warm.
CEO Larry Litton Jr., at ESOP's urging, flew to Cleveland to sign an agreement to work with at-risk homeowners.
We're in a very difficult, environment right now in terms of mortgage delinquencies and the way the markets are working. And in order for us to be more effective, we need to find more folks like ESOP to help us reach out to consumers, make sure that we're able to effectively cure their mortgage loans whenever they get past due.
Here's how Don't Borrow Trouble can save a home. Barbara Simmons, a retired hospital employee, has lived in this Glenville home for 38 years. She learned her home was in foreclosure when she called Litton Loan Servicing after falling 2 months behind on her mortgage last year.
It was really a bad time. And it was a bad time for about 2 or 3 months. You lose sleep, you can't eat, you lose weight, you really don't know, what you're gonna do.
Simmons reached ESOP and Don't Borrow Trouble through Cleveland Councilman Kevin Conwell. They went to bat for her and proved that the system works. The settlement agreement negotiated with ESOP has kept Barbara safely in her home and removed a heavy burden from her life.
It was a period of hanging in there and trusting them too and sticking it out and waiting to see, if it could be turned around. And when they said it could, then it's like the weight of the world is off your shoulders.
Cuyahoga County leaders agree that the future of our housing market and the overall economic stability of our region depends upon employing a balanced combination of improved government procedures and consumer education and prevention. Shutting predatory lenders out of our region is at the heart of fraud prevention. That's where Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Bill Mason comes in.
I think of my role as that when we find these cases, we got to strike hard and bang loud so that the people in the community and the people who are committing these types of acts that we haven't caught up to yet know we're on their trail. And hopefully we'll change their behavior in that they're not trying to pull these scams in our county, or they're not trying to pull these scams anywhere and they're picking up their roots and going somewhere else.
And that's exactly where Mason intends to send this bunch, the 6 of them, all suspects in a huge mortgage fraud case, accused of predatory lending, mortgage fraud, the same crimes that rack up foreclosures and leave homes abandoned. Mason says he won't stand for it.
Our best weapon is to prosecute them, make a lot of noise when they're being prosecuted so everybody sees that it's happening, so that they'll be wary next time they come into a thought of another transaction like that.
And the renewed enforcement thrust has reached the state level. Newly elected Attorney General Mark Dan has breathed new life into probing the predatory lending crisis.
My job is not just to represent Ohio and its governmental institutions, but to represent those people that those governmental institutions were created to protect. And so at the end of the day, my responsibility is to the people of Ohio, to make the Department of Commerce do what they're supposed to do in regulating unethical lenders, but to stand up for consumers who have been ripped off.
Attorney General Mark Dan is wasting no time following the lead of Cuyahoga County's efforts to stop foreclosures. His statewide task force is taking the Don't Borrow Trouble message statewide. To learn more about the Attorney General's efforts, you can log on to his website, www.ag.state.oh.us. Just click on the Predatory Lending tab in the Quick Links area. Now, straight ahead, on the Don't Borrow Trouble investigation, we're going to take you to Washington, to the halls of Congress. But first, another Don't Borrow Trouble tip. We'll be right back. The fight for sanity in lending practices that began right here in the County Administration Building in Cuyahoga County has now reached the hallways and hearing rooms in Congress, on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. To enlist the power of Congress, County Treasurer Jim ROKAKIS testified on Capitol Hill about the problems in our county and the need for a national Don't Borrow Trouble strategy.
You honor us with your work and your presence. Thank you very much for being here. Please proceed.
My name is Jim ROKAKIS. I'm the County Treasurer for Cuyahoga County, Ohio.
Treasurer ROKAKIS told the committee the lending industry has run amok without proper oversight and regulation.
We complained of fraud on an unprecedented scale that involved buyers, sellers, brokers, bankers, and appraisers. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, these tactics have devastated Cleveland and its neighborhoods.
With fresh data showing home foreclosures continuing to rise steadily, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are considering various measures to restore a mortgage market now in disarray.
Our Cuyahoga County officials have been leading the way, and particularly with respect to Mr. ROKAKIS, to point this out, not just as a local problem. This is a national problem. You have an industry where you have to engage in a constructive way, mortgage brokers and mortgage bankers and financial institutions, to change the way they do business.
ESOP President Inez Killingsworth testified to the committee. Her Cleveland-based nonprofit believes the foreclosure crisis was created by a banking industry bent on profit. Congress continues to debate how it will tighten the regulations regarding the lending industry. There's big money to lobby legislators, but Ohio's congressional delegation recognizes change may have to come from the federal level. Senator Sherrod Brown.
The mortgage companies, the banks weren't paying attention. Wall Street gained from it. A lot of people made a lot of money from this. And, you know, that's why you have government step in sometimes, because they gamed the system, and they gamed the system because they could legally. And they're going to come to Congress now and come to the House and Senate and say, we'll do better. Well, they haven't proven it, and I think we need to take some regulatory action.
The thing that's going to quell this problem is for people to get wise. And that's the biggest dilemma, education with regard to borrowing and understanding that you can't get something for nothing.
While county officials admit the foreclosure crisis may get worse before it gets better, government is doing its part. Hardworking county elected officials and staff members are making a difference.
While it's not a good feeling to know that you know, we're at the epicenter of it here, I think the good thing is that there are a number of good people at all different levels of government and private organizations who are working to try to deal with the problem. And certainly we're going to be right there with them to try to resolve it.
But government alone can't solve the foreclosure crisis. The decision to avoid a loan or home mortgage that can place you in financial peril is your decision. And good financial decisions come from arming yourself with the information needed to make the best decision for you and your family.
The silver lining is that when you reach the crisis point, then people begin to act. They become smarter about what they're doing. Resources are then devoted from government, from philanthropic organizations, from nonprofits, and there's a concerted community-wide effort to address the problem.
We're fortunate in Cuyahoga County. There are plenty of services available to help you. And reaching out to the Don't Borrow Trouble program won't cost you any money. Only your time to learn about the services and programs that are available. So whether you're about to sign a new loan or you have an existing loan gone bad, the Don't Borrow Trouble program is only a phone call away. Dial 211. The call is free and the services are free. I'm Michael Satoni. Thanks for joining us for this special investigation into the foreclosure crisis. Don't Borrow Trouble. On behalf of the Cuyahoga County Board of Commissioners, we'll see you next time.